Hello, my name is Kim, and this recording is about the transition and changes that Pluto working with Chiron is going to create for us over the next 8 years. For some time, I have sensed that the 1%ers have manipulated humanity through the Chiron wound of rejection and abandonment, working to train us into compliance and to dumb us down into lower consciousness people. Most of us don't even know that we are greater and more powerful than we are today. And if you think about it, way back in the past, like centuries ago, we used what is known today to be alternative therapies of healing and ways of being. We know that humans were much more advanced than they are today. Just look at the pyramids and the ancient structures that we are unable to replicate today with all our machinery and technology. There are many more examples in our history of highly evolved structures, skills and abilities that are way beyond our human capabilities of today. Where did that knowledge and power go? It's as though an energy came upon the earth to manipulate us into submission, to create the haves and the have-nots, and slowly but surely brought this way of being into our current circumstances, into the modern world, where we work endless hours to pay the bills, manipulated into buying things we don't really need in order to reward ourselves or to compensate ourselves for being unhappy. It's worked so well that we don't even recognize what we're doing anymore because it's the norm. It's just what we do and have done for so long. Our ability to manifest our needs, to work with nature, the seasons and the cycles of life have been removed from our awareness. The gifts that astrology brings to know ourselves and understand the cycles we live through and what they are teaching us, the knowledge regarding the power of our thoughts and words have been made to appear unbelievable. Yet we still create our reality through our words and our thoughts, but in a way that is unhelpful and keeps us in a vibration of powerlessness. We take the word of others as truth rather than listening to our own innate wisdom for fear that we don't have the knowledge or skills to know any better. The powers that be create a problem so they are seen to have the solution because the challenge is above us. And this is what they want us to think, to keep us powerless and in submission. Advertising is everywhere, on billboards and colourful screens, blasting the message into your mind that you need to buy this or that in order to be accepted and worthy. Why? Are you not capable of researching a product yourself? It's to capture your attention and to continue to purchase things that you don't need. And the desire to have it then and there is where people get into debt with credit cards. Back in the day, people had to save up to buy things they needed. And because it took time and effort to save, they appreciated and respected what they bought much more than what we do today. The value of a product purchased has gone. And now we live in a throwaway society which devalues our possessions and creates so much waste that the earth has to hold for us. And how long can she do that? Waste is hidden from us. We have little idea of the mass amounts of waste being piled up. Things that you and I don't even use, like planes and wind turbines, that can't be recycled. Car batteries and lithium batteries. Where do they all go? Plastic. Oh, look at everything that is in plastic that doesn't break down. It continues to float around in the sea in microparticles, which we consume when we eat wild fish. I could talk about this for hours, but I think you get the picture. We are looking at today as though that's all there is and will be. But the universe works with the big picture and the grand cycle of existence. We've had to know the darkness before we can see or experience the light. And God knows humanity has lived through some very dark times. What we are going through now may look like chaos, but it's what's required to lift the lid on the control and manipulation, which gives us the opportunity to take our power back. Or perhaps not to take it back, but to recognise it within ourselves and develop it, grow it, and learn to live as a powerful person by being responsible for our own decisions and experiences. My belief is that if we work on our Chiron wound, which is the area of life where we fear rejection from others or abandonment because we are not doing what everyone else is or living up to others' expectations, or if we don't have what everyone else has, and then we become comfortable with our own individual needs and desires, then they, the 1%ers, won't be able to overpower us, manipulate and control us. We need to deprogram and then reprogram ourselves to learn who we are and stop berating ourselves or seeing ourselves as less than, unworthy or incapable. That's the programming we need to undo. When I talk of self-love, people think that's ego and a bad thing, which is exactly what we have been programmed to believe. We see self-love as selfish and about being loved for being beautiful, but it has nothing to do with that. Self-love is about being kind to yourself, accepting yourself, and being responsible for your own needs and wants. It's about knowing yourself, trusting yourself, and growing yourself. Self-love is the most powerful thing on earth because it grows your inner strength and compassion, which ripples out to others and builds love and respect for all. It gifts you with abundance and joy, gratitude and peace, so much so that you share it with others rather than trying to take it from others or needing their validation, because you learn to validate yourself and see what you are capable of, and then have a quiet respect for yourself. So, here we are in July 2025, at a point where we are beginning to transform the programming into higher consciousness, a new way of living which will be greater than what we have lived so far. This won't happen overnight, but it will happen, and it is starting to happen now. We see chaos all over the globe at the moment, and some may wonder if this will continue to deteriorate or evolve into something better. And this is where the gift of astrology comes in. We have Pluto and the Sun opposite each other working with Chiron until the 5th of August, applying pressure to the wound we've come to heal in this lifetime. Pluto is bringing to our attention wounds that the collective has carried for many lifetimes, and the Sun, working with Pluto, is highlighting our shadows that need to be transformed. We can learn from our shadows, the parts of us that we don't normally like to look at because it's uncomfortable. Most think our shadow side is set in concrete and we will never change. But that's not true. With care and compassion, we can look at the parts of ourselves that we don't really like and find ways to change them. What is it that we need to learn from our shadow side? We were all born innocent, and these perhaps unhealthy behaviours, thoughts and ways of being have been created to protect ourselves from being hurt or to cover up a hurt. But we have more information that is readily available and easy to obtain now. There are many programs available to help you shift and grow from any shadow. It takes work, but the results are highly beneficial and rewarding. You get to accept and know yourself, which will reduce any judgment you have of yourself and others. Instead of blaming others for what they are doing, we get to learn from them. And once we realize that they are reflecting back to us how we think and feel about ourselves and change those thoughts and feelings, they won't play that role anymore, and you will all live more harmoniously. Once Pluto and the Sun complete their cycle of showing us where our hidden shadows are between now and the 5th of August, Pluto will continue to work with Chiron until May 2033. Yes, that's 8 years of personal and collective reprogramming and growth. Fortunately, Pluto usually works in subtle ways because he moves slowly. His work involves deep diving into the depths of what is hidden within us, as in the programming and manipulation that has been embedded within us, and he brings it to the surface for us to work with. While Pluto works with Chiron, the wound we've come to heal, we will have situations arise where we have an opportunity to heal and grow up and out of any fear of rejection or abandonment. Most of the time I see people that have abandoned themselves to make other people like them so they're not rejected or judged. Again, this is the programming that we will be working on for the next 8 years. Unless you have already done a lot of work on your shadow side and can fully accept yourself as you are and have no fear of rejection. But a lot of us aren't there yet or haven't even known that this is a thing. While Pluto works with your fear of rejection or abandonment, you may have glimpses of the past coming into your thoughts regarding things you've done in your earlier years that you probably wouldn't be proud of today. It's important to keep judgment out of your thoughts regarding your past behaviours and recognise that at the time you didn't know any different. At the time, you were most likely feeling a need to be accepted and loved regardless. These thoughts are for you to look at and work through, especially if behaviours today show the same qualities. If you feel a tad squeamish and wouldn't do those things today, that may be enough, and self-forgiveness and compassion is all you need to do. If you still do the same things and you prefer you didn't, then you know what you have to work on. Find someone that can assist you with your healing and growth, because you don't have to do it on your own. Or there are plenty of books and online courses to help you. There will be aspects being presented from previous or future lives as well. You may find them in your dreams or feelings that you can't place in today's life. You may even be playing out a situation that wasn't completed in another life and find that once you start working on it, suddenly it's over. There's no attachment to it, and you may even feel relief when it ends. Chiron is in Aries at the moment, the sign of the individual self. And Pluto is in Aquarius, the sign of groups and the collective. So you may also find that what you are healing is something you experienced in a group situation. It could look like you went ahead with something because the group did, and you hadn't thought about if it resonated with your values and morals. And now, today, the more wiser and older you wouldn't do those things today. It can also be a bit challenging if this is occurring in your workplace, But we have seen many leave their jobs because they didn't agree with the mandates or changes in the workplace rules and regulations. If we look at this on a collective level, it would suggest that humanity has gone along with the status quo because everyone else was, and the programming by the powers that be were very influential and created the collective mentality to comply or be rejected. Now it's time to highlight your individuality, your sovereignty and independence. While the sun is in Cancer, the theme will be going over the past and how you may have abandoned your own needs. And when the sun moves into Leo, the courage and strength to really be your true, authentic self comes in. Your self-acceptance and maturity will support you to be loyal to your own values and morals rather than following the crowd. You may leave certain relationships and find a new tribe of people whom you resonate with more clearly and honestly, deeply and authentically on a heart level. You'll recognise them very quickly and also create a mutual bond very easily. When Chiron leaves Aries, where it has been since 2018, and moves into Taurus at the end of 2026, the focus will be more on self-worth, healing the wounds where we have been devalued and lived through some ugly times. We will work on creating more stability and beauty into our own being and sense of self. We may find peace and acceptance while watching the world go by at its own pace. June, July, and especially August of 2025 are pivotal months for the transition humanity is experiencing. If you find things falling away from your life, that's okay, because it's creating space for the new to come in. And before we can transition into higher consciousness, the past and all scenarios related to lower 3D consciousness has to be addressed, learnt from and grown through to 5D ways of being, which is without judgment or fear of rejection, with only acceptance and patience, being in the flow of life and living within universal laws and principles. Equality and abundance, manifesting and creation, giving and receiving, along with love and gratitude, will be the way we live on a daily basis. And hey, we can always start now. I hope this helps you to understand the transition humanity is going through at the moment, and to know that it is real and has the intention to bring about our highest and best. Thank you for listening today. I hope you are able to move through this transition with ease and grace. Big love and blessings to you. Bye for now.